And just like that, the regular season is over and we got our eye on the playoffs. So if you are spinning to win for the Saturday action, the wild card round of the playoffs, Pat Fitzmaurice and I got you covered with everything you need to know from a DFS perspective to help you spin to win on Fantasy Spin for wild card action here on Saturday. That is Pat Fitzmaurice. Find him over on X at Fitz_FF. So, Pat, like I mentioned, we are spinning for the 2 Saturday games. Rams double-digit favorites over the Panthers, and basically a pick 'em with Green Bay and Chicago with that line right now. As we're recording this on Wednesday evening, Green Bay is favored by 1. Talk to me a high-level overview. What of these games are you looking at? What's the matchups? Who are the players we have to have? Basically, the elevator pitch for how we win on Saturday.
Yeah, for Rams Panthers, like it's hard for me to see the Panthers winning this game. This is the only game the wild card weekend I feel like, and I say this after the Rams lost in Charlotte in week 13, I believe it was. And but that was also like one of Matthew Stafford has had 2 sloppy games this year, and that was one of them. There was a lost fumble, there were a couple of interceptions. But man, I do feel like even though this Panthers defense is respectable, I don't know if they can hold on Puka Nacua all game. I don't know if they can hold on the Kyren Williams, Blake Corum combo all game. So I just, even though, maybe Carolina can keep it close enough to cover, I just don't think they can win this game. I don't think they can get enough offense out of Bryce Young. So, and then the night game, which I'm certainly interested in, is a Wisconsin native and born and bred Packer fan living in the Chicago area. I've definitely got some pride at stake in this one. And I think it's going to be a fun game. I think the total, which last I checked was like 45.5. I think we're going over, even though it's going to be chilly. There's going to be some snow during the game. People should be prepared for that. But from what I've seen from these defenses, the Packers defense after Micah Parsons got hurt, and Devontae Wyatt, also kind of a key injury that doesn't get talked about as much, but he was their best run defender. And man, the Chicago defense, I mean, people saw that 49ers Bears game. The Bears are not where they are because of their defense. Let's just say that. So I think we're going to get some scoring in that game.
And hopefully we get some exposure to that Rams offense and a little bit of that game. We'll have to see what particular players you might like. So we're going to go ahead and give it a spin. We are entered in a tokens contest in the arcade mode main event. If you are in a state where you can play for cash, go ahead and play for cash. A lot of cool contests there as well. But we're spinning for tokens here. So as we look at this main event in arcade mode, Pat, the only true spot we have here is a quarterback. Then we have 5 flex spots that we can fill in everywhere else. So Caleb Williams, Bryce Young, Jordan Love, Matthew Stafford. Those are your 4 options at quarterback. We happen to get Caleb Williams here. Is he going to be the highest scoring quarterback on Saturday in your eyes?
I think there's a chance he is. I bet over 203.5 passing yards on him earlier today. And I'm feeling pretty good about him. I think the snow could maybe slow down the Green Bay pass rush a little. And with the way Luther Burden has come on in recent weeks, he's getting Rome Odunze back this week. Like, I don't mind him at all. I think he and Stafford and Jordan Love are all kind of in the same bucket for me, but I would be willing to lock it in with Caleb if you are.
I am okay with that. The only thing I think I agree on, actually, I know I agree on it, is hashtag anybody but Bryce Young. I think you can win with the other 3. I don't envision a first place lineup in the main event on Saturday being a Bryce Young led lineup. That I feel pretty confident about.
Yeah, they've been trying to hide him. I think he's had under 25 passing attempts and more than half his starts this year. Like, they do not want to put this game on Bryce Young's shoulders.
Nope, and they certainly don't. So I am good with Caleb Williams there. We have DeAndre Swift. WC is a top 5 projected player on the slate. Green Bay's defense is a lot different without Micah Parsons out there. So, and we see with Ben Johnson, he is content to try to run that ball as much as possible and really let the ground game work. So is DeAndre Swift somebody we have to lock in?
I'm interested in him for sure. I'm willing to. And I'm interested in Christian Watson too here. So, yeah, which of those is more of a must in your eyes?
For me, it's Watson.
Okay.
He's my preferred Green Bay receiver. I want some action in this game. Looking at it here, really, it's been any receiver that's really gotten after Chicago. Slot receivers have done really well, but Chicago's allowed the second most fantasy points per game to wideouts over the last 6 weeks of the regular season. Watson's the big play guy, and to finish first in a main event, you want the upside. I'm chasing ceiling, and Watson can certainly give us that. And I'm with you. I like points scored in that one. So
Yeah.
I'm Team Watson over Swift.
Let's do it. Let's lock in Watson.
The only other one on here is going to be Tet McMillan, because if anybody can get to the Rams defense, I think it has to be a perimeter wide receiver. My wife is a Rams fan. We sit and watch the games, and all I do is watch Emmanuel Forbes get burnt and burnt and burnt and burnt over and over. And it's so infuriating to watch. And over the last 6 weeks of the regular season, Rams second most fantasy points per game to perimeter receivers. And McMillan really hardly goes into the slot. So I'm pro Teteroa McMillan. Are you here in this matchup?
I'm on board with that.
Okay.
I checked his total on receiving yardage. It was like 53.5, and that does seem a little bit low for me. And a guy that big, I think Emmanuel Forbes is going to have a really hard time handling. I mean, Forbes is just so spindly, and I feel like Teteroa McMillan might be able to bully him.
And if Carolina can't hide Bryce Young, what happens if Rams get the ball first, bing, bang, boom, right down, score? Force a punt, bing, bang, boom, they go right down and score again. Dave Canales cannot just say, hand the ball off to Rico Dowdle and Chuba Hubbard till the third quarter. At that point, you could be down too far. We could get a little spike in passing volume for Bryce Young, which would, in theory, help Tet McMillan.
Yeah, it's going to be real hard to keep Bryce Young under 25 pass attempts in this game, I think. So I'm with you on Tet.
And we'll lock him in. So we're going to take four spins left. We're going to take 3 players. Or we're going to lock 3 in, I should say. We still want Puka. We still want maybe a Devontae Adams or a Kyren, but we get stuck with 2 kickers here. I'm intrigued by Colston Loveland. The recent production has been really good, but Green Bay's been tough on tight end. So it's almost like the unstoppable force that is Colston Loveland versus the immovable object that's Green Bay against tight end. So is Loveland worth a lock as he went out in that battle within the war?
Yeah, I know. I'm not sure about the status of Javon Bullard, who has been kind of a key defender for the Packers. Sometimes he covers the slot, sometimes he covers tight ends. But man, Loveland has just been so sturdy. I think he's had like at least 3 catches in every game dating back to like either late September, early October. And we've kind of seen a spike from him lately. They're dialing back on Cole Kmet a little bit and sort of featuring Loveland. I would be very much in favor of keeping him.
Good. I am good with locking him in. And then we're out of lock, so we have to take the 2 kickers with us, and that's just not what we're going to do. We need some Rams. We need some Rams. That is what we are going to need. And we don't get any Rams. We get another kicker. And watch, what'll happen is I'm going to keep saying we'll need Rams, and you know who we're going to get. It's going to be Harrison Meebus. We'll get the Rams kicker. That's what's going to happen. Oh, man. Here we go. 2 spins left. Still looking for Puka. And we don't.
Oh, boy.
So, I mean, you can't even spin this up as positive. We have to go for the last spin.
We do have to go for broke here.
So we're going to go for bro. We're going to hope for the best. And we get Puka and Josh Jacobs.
Yes. We rolled Yahtzee on that last spin.
I mean, here's the thing. A lot of times we'll do spins like this, and I'll say, like, hey, you really can't do better than that. This time I really do mean it, because I'm pretty sure those are the 2 top projected players. You literally could not do better on that final spin than Puka and Josh Jacobs.
No, that was perfect. Jacobs, they've had the opportunity to rest him now. I think it's going to be full go for him, and wouldn't be surprised to see 20 carries out of him. And, he's got, I think, in something like 44 career games with the Packers, he scored 42 touchdowns. He's good for about a touchdown a game. That's not bad. And obviously Puka is the crown jewel.
He's the cream of the crop. It's such a good matchup. If you go look at the numbers, a lot of times they'll say like numbers under the hood, over the hood, to the side of the hood. It doesn't matter. Everything is pro Puka Nacua in this matchup. So that's a phenomenal spin. I love it. And now we can multiply our winnings and tokens here with a pick'em. So Pat, players on the screen, which ones from our lineup here, maybe it's Puka, maybe it's Josh Jacobs, maybe it's Ted McMillan, or Christian Watson, who happened to check out your early predictions for 2026 mock drafts over at Fantasy Pros. And people, listen to me, just because he has Nico Collins in the second round and not as a first rounder, that doesn't mean you automatically close the article. Keep on reading it. You actually have Christian Watson maybe a little bit higher than people think. So maybe he's your pick here for who goes over their projected point total.
Yeah, I mean, I do like Watson a lot. He came back in 2 kind of quiet games after he got back from the knee injury, and then went on a tear and scored 6 touchdowns in 7 games. And this Bears secondary, they get Gordon back, but he's a slot corner. Jalen Johnson has not been the same guy this year. Their outside corners are not good. I would be all for taking Christian Watson here and going for broke with the big plays. And it sounds like you would maybe be of like mind.
Yep. 14.4 is good for me. That's, 3 for 80 and a touchdown, well past it. And I think that's very well in play. So I like Christian Watson. I'm also going to go Colston Loveland. I know Green Bay's been solid against tight ends, but Caleb Williams has a thing for Colston Loveland. And despite through the first couple of weeks of the season, when all I kept saying was, how do you justify drafting a tight end 10th overall and then not using him? It's finally come to fruition. Finally. So we'll go Colston Loveland. And then we do need one more. Puka's line is high, but he just produces. I like Ted McMillan on the other side. I can make a case for any of the final 4, but I'm gonna take the cheap way out as the host here and defer to you.
You know what? As much as I like Puka, that is a high line. And I'm thinking there's going to be far more offense in the Bears Packers game than people are predicting. So I kind of like, rather than going with one of the, someone who has to rely on a quarterback, I'd rather just go with the quarterback and take Caleb here.
Yep. I like it. And you know what? You've convinced me on scoring that game. We're putting Josh Jacobs in as well and hope for a rushing touchdown or 2. So Fantastic. We're going to go with those 4, try to turn 1,000 tokens here into 10,000 tokens there. And that lineup projected to finish 5th. It's a top 5 finish. Good luck trying to beat that, folks. That's a pretty darn good lineup. I'll tell you what, Fantasy Spin had us in the first half, but that last spin, they may have won the battle. We won the war, though. That's what I'm saying.
That's right.
With Puka and Jacobs there. So, Pat, I know the regular season is over, but any playoff content you have going on over at Fantasy Pros, or like I said, I was checking out, I'm actually looking at it here, the early mock draft for 2026, maybe just shine some light on maybe who's one player, kind of tease the article a little bit, who's one player that kind of surprised you with how high you might think they go in 2026?
How high I think they might go. I think people are going to talk. Now, I don't necessarily agree with it, but I think people are going to. Trey McBride is going to go in the first round in some drafts.
Yep.
Now, he's not going to be my tight end 1, Colby. I'm still a Brock Bowers truther.
Okay.
I'm all about the athletic, freakishly athletic tight ends, and I prefer Bowers, but I think Trey McBride is going to go in the first round, and people are maybe going to overlook how deep the tight end position actually has gotten. And so I think it would be a mistake, but watch, he will be a first round pick in a lot of leagues.
I will be very interested to see how it plays out as we proceed through the playoffs and into 2026 draft season. But Pat, thank you so much for joining. Everyone out there, check out the article he's got over at Fantasy Pros, all the great content over there. And you can follow Pat over on X at Fitz_FF. You can find me over on X at Colby R. Conway. And if you want to spin to win and experience the newest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports this playoff season, head over to the Google Play or the Apple App Store, download the Fantasy Spin app today, and we will see you on the leaderboard. What's up, y'all? Hope you enjoyed the content. For the avoidance of doubt, please note that I, Colby Conway, am a DFS player entering these contests under the username Colby Conway. The strategies and recommendations in this video do not necessarily reflect the views of Fantasy Spin. Please play responsibly and visit fantasyspin.com/responsible gaming to take advantage of Fantasy Spin's responsible gaming resources.